ReelFramer, human AI co-creation for news to video translation. Newsreels are short videos that convey news. They are an emerging format for sharing news on social media. Many news publishers are embracing this format to engage with younger audiences. Their fast-paced, story-driven delivery is entertaining as well as informative. Here is a popular example from the Washington Post. The video is about 20 seconds long.
Oh, I'm retiring. Hey, could you stick around for like 2 years? What? The French government just used its executive powers to raise the retirement age. If you had said stick around for like 30 minutes, it's a really unpopular move. I would have been upset, but like more willing. It could cause Parliament to issue a no confidence vote for the Prime Minister. I had like dinner reservations. It would really shake up the whole government. Okay. I'm gonna go protest this. I'll see you. Bye.
Newsreels are based on existing articles. It is challenging to transform a traditional news article into the emerging newsreel format. A good newsreel is short, narrative-driven, fast-paced, with colloquial and entertaining dialogues. We built ReelFramer, an interactive AI workflow to support journalists in reframing the narrative to translate news into social media reels. In literature, narrative framing is a high-level structure that shapes the overall presentation of a story. The same story can be told as a drama or a comedy, depending on the framing choices of characters and how they interact. This concept can also be applied to journalism. The same news story can be presented seriously as on the PBS NewsHour or with comedy as on The Daily Show. The choice of framing varies according to the nature of the story. A serious frame might suit some stories, whereas a more lighthearted frame could benefit others. Through a 6-month co-design with journalism experts, we discovered 3 narrative framings for reels that adapt social media norms but preserve news value. Each with a different balance of information and entertainment. Expository dialogue contains the highest informational value, involving an expert explaining the facts to a newcomer. Reenactment blends information with entertainment, where the main stakeholders reenact the event and explore the consequences. Comedic analogy holds the greatest entertainment value, as the news characters perform the event in a comedic setting that is analogous to the news event. ReelFramer supports users translating news articles into reels by helping them produce scripts and storyboards. Instead of directly trying to generate the scripts or storyboards from the article, ReelFramer supports first exploring multiple narrative framings to find one appropriate to the story. And then AI suggests foundational narrative details, also called a premise, including characters, plot, setting, and key information to execute the framing. ReelFramer also supports visual framing. AI suggests character and visual detail designs before generating a full storyboard. Our annotation study shows that establishing premises helps generate scripts that are more relevant and coherent, compared to the without premise baseline, where the LLM is only given general instructions. The with premise method in ReelFramer can produce scripts that are significantly more informative and coherent and better conform to the narrative framing. Here is a demo of ReelFramer. First, let's enter a news article. Here is one about delays in issuing new credit and debit cards. To summarize the article, the system extracts who and what the article is about. For example, Ed is a customer trying to get a new credit card. Professor Penfield is an expert on supply chain problems. Before generating a script, we pick a narrative framing. The default framing is expository dialogue. It uses an expert character to explain the news event to a newcomer. This framing tends to be more informative. Other framings focus on being more entertaining. Before we generate a script, we need to establish the premise, the characters, setting, and news information to cover. Here, the system suggests that Professor Penfield be the expert and the customer be the newcomer. The system also suggests the reel be set at a chip manufacturer's factory. The system summarizes the most important points to suggest what information the reel should convey, like the global microchip shortage is causing delays in delivering credit cards. These points look good, but the first point could be more precise. We can edit it to say debit and credit cards, not just credit cards. With the framing and premise in place, we generate a script. The colors show where the information points are in the script. Here, blue is missing, which means the second information point is missing. we should generate a new script. This looks much better. All the information points are included, and it starts with a dialogue that introduces the global chip shortage and explains that little shiny squares in credit cards. This script is informative, but it could be funnier. Let's explore a different narrative framing that's more entertaining. The comedic analogy framing uses an analogy to convey the news event. Here, the credit union is a frantic bartender who is struggling to serve all the customers as his cake of microchips runs dry. The setting is a crowded party at a bar. There are also 4 information points suggested by the system. We could edit them or just generate a script. Here, the credit union says we are low on microchips, the secret sauce of our card-infused drinks. The customer asks how long the wait is, and the bartender replies, 6 weeks, but it's worth the wait. This is informative and entertaining. So the next step is to establish the storyboard. Here, the bartender wears an apron and a bow tie and is holding a notepad. The customer has a more casual look to distinguish her. For backgrounds, the bartender has a wall with bottles. The customer's background is a bar wall with neon decorations. From the character board, the system generates a storyboard. For each line of the dialogue, it shows the character's expression, gestures, and actions. This helps us plan out the shots before shooting the newsreel. We conducted a user study with 5 journalism students, each made 2 newsreels using ReelFramer. Here is a reel a participant made about the Willow Oil Project.
The Biden administration approved the Willow Oil Project, the largest new oil project in years on Alaska's petroleum-rich North Slope. What? That's a blatant betrayal of Biden's promise to end new oil and gas drilling on federal land. Yes, but the flow of oil through the Trans-Alaska Pipeline is a fraction of what it was at its height in the late 1980s. Easy to say when it's not your carbon emissions. I'm sure Alaska natives would beg to differ. Wait, Alaska natives are in favor of this? Of course, it'll bring jobs and money for their communities. Great, so now we have to sue both of you? Looks like it. I guess some things, like money, are universal.
Newsreels produced with ReelFramer scored high on informativeness and entertainment ratings. For reels produced by participants, journalism experts scored 5.43 of 7 for informativeness. TikTok Power users rated 4.97 of 7 for entertainment. The discrepancy was mostly attributed to the artistic decisions made by creators. During the study, users found that ReelFramer supported the difficult process of translating news articles into newsreels. Narrative framings help users explore the design space for script writing. Primacies help users control generations and create coherent, informative scripts. In human AI co-creation, AI greatly eases the process of ideation and prototyping. However, humans need to evaluate and edit at every step to ensure quality.